right? Because everybody wants to
Mhm.
know what's up with the game. We don't know. We don't want to know the bad stuff yet. We know there's some bad things in there. There's,
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. And disclaimer for all you people that are deciding whether or not, if you're watching us, of course, thank you so much. But still, take this information with a grain of salt. Okay, everybody feels different. Everybody can shift. Tomorrow, I can hate AC Evo. That's just how it is. It's just. Hello and welcome to the Chicane Podcast, where we discuss all things in the sim racing world. I'm your host, Jason Rivera, and I'm joined here by Mr. Eric Kelly and Jeff Smart. How is everybody doing?
Doing good, man.
Dude, it's a big day / week in the sim racing world today. We got some bangers of topics today. I'm ready to get into it.
Yes,
Hell
sir.
yeah, man! It's this was coming. So
I think the world knew this was coming.
Yeah. Been waiting a little bit
We've
for
been
sure.
waiting a hot minute. Yeah.
yeah, we have a lot to go over. So just gonna roll right into announcements. AC Evo is out. Obviously, you guys can buy it now.
Mhm.
And Mike from the Sim Racing Den joins GRL, which
Yeah,
is
let's go.
amazing. Mike, if you can hear us out there, it was great racing beside you. And this could be your chance, man. If you follow a guy like Mike and his reviews, you could race door to door with him just on a Tuesday or Thursday. I think those are the 2 days if you have time. But
Yeah.
that's going to be it for me on announcements wise. Over to Eric. What you got?
Speaking of GRL, I finally got a chance to do my
Oh, that's
first
right.
race. I'm proud of myself, man. Was racing in the BMW M2. I came in at P18 out of I think it was a field of like 42 or 47
Dang!
cars. And
Look
so
at you.
Wait a
it
minute
it
now.
was a
It's a multi-class race, Jeff.
Hey,
hey,
dude,
hey,
you
hey,
didn't have to do
hey,
that to the man.
hey,
You didn't have
hey
to do
now.
that to the man.
You look, that all that matters are the numbers, man.
That's
18
right.
I
out
was
of 40.
P18. Now I have no idea how many M2s on the track,
You know
to
what?
be
I
honest.
retract my previous statement.
Yeah,
P18. That's it.
yeah,
P18.
P18.
P18. Yep, and that was but it was in all honesty, it was fun. And we talked about this before offline, but I've done a lot of races in GT7 and it's like me and my music. I'm not racing with anybody else. I'm racing against randoms. All you have to communicate with are, some headlight flashes every now and then or something like that. But being able to be in a Discord with other guys and just hear what's going on the track, it gives so much more life to the races. And I didn't even know at the time. Jason sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, this is an endurance race, right?" I was like, "I didn't know that. I thought this
His
What's
was
first
that?
race, it was an endurance.
yeah."
What
And
what
so
is
we're
the endurance?
racing,
50 minutes. 50
Okay.
50
minutes. But it's a
minutes.
two stopper. So I was like,
Oh,
dude, you, you
welcome
gotta
to
you,
rate.
you gotta know
Yeah,
how to
like
you gotta know how much gas you need. You gotta choose if you want to take tires. But go ahead, Eric. I won't steal your thunder. Go ahead.
no, man. That was some of the most fun I've had in GT7 was doing some of the endurance races and coming in there. I wasn't a fan of the track, which they followed iRacing series. So I'm really looking forward to racing this week because I actually was grinding to get my D license on a track that they're going to be doing this upcoming week. So
I
looking
think it's
forward to
Lime
that.
Rock, right? Lime Rock?
Yeah, yeah, Lime Rock, which
That's a
is
fun little track.
yeah, it's a fun
Bro,
little track, and with all those cars on there, it's gonna be crazy.
that's the
This would be
problem.
crazy, is right.
It's gonna be
You said
crazy.
fun little
It's
track.
not.
Yeah,
It's not a
It
huge. It's how many? What is it like?
40
Three
something
clicks?
cars, bro. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but it's not a. It's not a. It's not a like a
yeah.
super
It's
track.
got
Or
like
a
what,
what's that?
like 8 or 9 turns or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not much. Like, and even and also like I say, just for me, I'm just more familiar with it because I was racing on it more, so that'll be more
Mm.
fun. Um, but yeah, the did the endurance race, and I feel like I got the full kind of experience. Like we did the practice, did the qualies, did the endurance race. I looked at the results, and it was 27 laps that we did, or that I did, and ended up doing the 2 pit stops. Had to decide, fuel, take tires or not, and Just really a well-rounded race. They did the review afterward with the stewards, which was dope. Just pulled up, Discord and got to watch the steward review some of the incidents, and people got to comment on what happened where and stuff like that. I mean, just if you like racing, that's where you want to be, man. I haven't raced in any other iRacing leagues, but just the community, everybody was, there was some shit talking, of course, but it was all it was all in fun, So I enjoyed myself. I can't wait to do another race though. But yeah, first GRL race out the way. Shout out to Vlad because he was helping me. He's like, hey man, if you just do this, you'll. And I was looking at
Hmm.
your safety rating. If you just do your next race like this, you're probably like one race away. And I did it, and I got my D license. So
Hell yeah,
that's
bro.
what's up, man. Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. The league is cool, man. It's in some cases it's better than the officials. I mean, it's something I look forward to every week. So I know we've been pushing this a lot on the show lately. And no one paid us to do that or asked us to
Yeah.
do that either. They're super humble. Um,
Yeah.
but if you want to check out a cool group of people and
Mhm.
race with two people from the show so far, we're trying to see about Jeff, trying to get him over,
Yeah.
trying to see how he can get in there. But hey, at least two
Yeah.
out of three you'll be able to race with. And now we got Mike from the Sim Racing Den, Daniel Newman. I'm talking to Daniel Newman down his throat, telling him to get over here
Well,
and promote some DNR love
Yeah, yeah,
into.
definitely.
See, the goal here is to get everybody together. That's all this is. That's all I want is everybody
Yeah.
together because we're all sim racers, at the end of the day. We all build these things to race on them. We didn't build them to film them or take pictures of them and show it to people and say, "Look how cool I have this big simulator." No, the simulator the
Mhm.
simulator was built to have fun on it and to improve your skills on it. Those are the two
Yeah.
things. Um, but hell
Yeah.
yeah, glad to have you there, Eric. And it's no biggie if you miss out one day. That it's they're very understanding. So take that in
Yeah.
consideration. And
Yeah,
over to
man.
Jeff. What's up? Oh,
no,
my
no.
bad, Eric. What you got? What you got? One more thing?
No, I was saying that's, yeah,
Okay.
I feel that. It's not just talk. I feel it.
Okay. All right.
No,
So
yeah, I don't have too much of announcements. Just a couple races this week. Nothing super earth shattering going on. But
Mm.
we got some banger topics. So let's just get into it here.
okay. So main discussion now. AC Evo testing. I'm going to read some of my notes here, and they're
Mhm.
very, how do you say this? They're
Mhm.
very short. They're very short, but this is going to be a discussion topic. I want Eric and Jeff to chime in on each of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over the pros, right? Because everybody wants to
Mhm.
know what's up with the game. We don't know. We don't want to know the bad stuff yet. We know there's some bad things in there.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie to you. And disclaimer for all you people that are deciding whether or not, if you're watching us, of course, thank you so much. But still, take this information with a grain of salt. Okay. Everybody feels different. Everybody can shift. Tomorrow, I can hate AC Evo. That's just how it is. It's just evolution. So anyway, we're gonna go over the pros. The pros: driving physics are great, but not just driving physics across different vehicles. And what do I mean when I say that? Is we have a GT2 car, we have some front wheel drive cars, which are street cars. They got a S2000, they got a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Um, And then they also have a Porsche, right? A different Porsche class, almost GT3 ish class.
Yeah. I think it's
And I
GT2,
can
right?
say again,
So I think it's GT2.
no,
Yeah.
the GT2
Porsche.
is the Mercedes.
Oh
Is
yeah,
a
yeah. The
is a
Mercedes
Mercedes
GT2.
GT2, which is
Yeah.
amazing actually.
Yeah.
That's my favorite car in the game right now. It's a monster and it sounds great and everything. But anyway, staying with the topic here, the physics.
Yeah. Mm.
What impressed me first impressions, this is an alpha. Its current version is 0.12 as of
Mm,
today, this recording. Um, is I can tell the difference between classes. And that's something that a simulator or game is hard to distinguish, right? It's hard to have basically three different tire models in a single game, in a single package.
mm,
So that's kind of what struck me the hardest. It's like I'm jumping in a GT2 car. It's I can feel different stuff than the previous classes of cars, which is obvious, which is what we want.
mm.
Um, but the overall feel of the vehicles to me felt amazing. You know, we're just talking physics now, just the physics of the car, how it turns, how it brakes, and how it feels. So over to you,
Yeah.
gentlemen. What do you guys, with your time, what
Mm.
have you found for physics in the game?
I'll jump in. I'll start here, Eric, if you don't mind. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
put a caveat out there. I have 10, 15 laps on Mount Panorama, and that's my
Mm,
experience driving so far. I have spent a lot longer than that trying to get the game set up, but we'll get into that later. So I did drive the Porsche 992.
mm,
And it's been a minute. I'll be transparent. It's been a minute since I've driven a GT3, especially probably back to ACC, not a GT3, but like a sports car. Uh,
mm.
but I thought it felt good. I mean, I'm not going to put be stand by it too much because I just don't have as much experience driving sports cars. So I just want to be transparent with everybody. It felt good. Like
Mm,
I handled like I guess I thought it would.
mm.
When it comes to handling wise. So I'm not going to go too far into that as much. I don't have a whole lot of experience.
Yeah.
So I want to follow up. Did it
Mm.
feel like ACC?
I think it did, and I think that's what I kind of alluded to is like it felt like an unpolished ACC.
Okay,
You know,
because
like
that was my feeling. It's like I feel like I have two games in one package, or
yeah,
three games in one package. So
Yeah.
I mean, but you've been sim racing for a long time. I mean, it's not doesn't take that long for you to know. You know, first few corners you kind of get all right. So the car's doing this or the car's doing that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I, it's an early release, like you said. It's for testing.
yeah,
Like
we
people
gotta be
need to
careful. We gotta
keep
be
their
yeah.
Yeah.
expectations, manage your expectations here. Like that's what it is. And I thought
Yeah.
it was, yeah. The game do it did is what we thought it was.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
I am hopefully optimistic.
all
Yeah.
right. With we're talking just physics,
Just
right?
physics.
Okay,
Yep, 100%.
physics. All right, Eric, up. You're up next, brother.
Yeah. So for me, the physics, they felt good. Especially, of course I have to do my A/B testing. Because some people were obviously compared, want to know how it compared to GT7 and stuff like that. And so just physics wise, very much ACC. I did notice that one thing that stuck out to me specifically was like losing control of the car and feeling when if you're going sideways, the tires skipping across the pavement was something
Mm-hmm.
that I don't remember feeling in any other sim. So to me, I think the physics are they feel like they're trying to be like kind of take you to the next level of physics. So very hopeful. I feel like they got a great foundation to build on with that. Um, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'm impressed. Still working, sort of like I think a lot of people are still trying to dial things in and figure out what's what, especially between the wheel
that's a big
settings
part
and
of it.
in-game settings. So
Hmm.
I think as we dial that in and also as they put out updates, because there's some things, I've noticed that you adjust and they have no impact really on, your driving experience. I don't know if that's intended or if that's
Could be turned
like
off. It's an
yeah, turned off or something like that. So for this to be the alpha, I feel like on between us figuring out more of what works in the game and then them kind of dialing things in too, I think it's going to be great. But
okay.
right now, it's in a good place.
All right. So next up is graphics and fidelity. And I'm
Mm,
going to tell you now,
mm,
and this is going to be a little controversial, but right now, a lot of people across the internet are having many different performance numbers. And that's to
yeah.
be expected, especially from a game that's not optimized. And then your video card is also doesn't have drivers for this game yet. So it's really it's an unpolished on top of your video card not knowing what to do with it. You know what I mean? Or your CPU or whatever.
Mm,
Um for 2025, this don't look like a 2025 game to me at all. So I mean, if you look
mm,
at and you know how I feel about GT7.
mm.
Everybody knows how I feel about it. But if GT7 came out maybe what is it, Eric, 6 years ago?
Wasn't that long ago. It was maybe
Is it pre-COVID? GT7? So
it was
anyway,
definitely it was definitely pre-COVID. Yeah.
so that's about 5 years ago, bro. We're in
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
It's been a
anyway,
long
just
time.
give or take, right? We're not trying to
Mm,
say when the game came out. I'm just telling to say that this is the first sim to come out that's like next gen, right? Aside from LMU and aside from Rensport,
mm,
it doesn't look like a 2025 title when a console game blows you away with graphics and the way it looks. So that might change. Again, like I said, things might change. Maybe some things are not on or off. And I have
mm,
a pretty beefy system. My system can definitely run the game with all the settings on turned up all the way. And I feel like when you turn those settings up, nothing happens. Saying kind of the same thing that Eric touched on with, the car feature, the physics, the physics options. So that's how I feel about the graphics. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying that it doesn't look the way it was presented, with
Oh,
the
that's a fair point.
yeah.
You make
yeah.
a good point there. But you have a 4090, so in a beefy rig, you should be seeing the best this thing's got to produce.
Right. So
And
I just think that it's not turned on or something. I mean,
yeah,
what did you
Yeah.
guys think? How does it
dude,
look on your rigs? How does it run?
we're uh, sometimes to our detriment, we're straight no chaser here. Uh, dude, I was super disappointed. I was disappointed. And again, it's early release. I get it.
Mm,
I think that's the place that this is going to have to improve the most if it's going to be a staple in people's rotation for Sims.
The graphics,
Yeah,
you
I
think?
had to go to like
Okay.
medium, like just the overall, and just messing around real quick to get like 55 to 65 frames per second, and it was nothing to write home about graphics wise. You know, so it
yeah.
just is. And again, like I'm the new guy to this when it comes. Like it's just interesting that people release products that are unfinished. That they do it for a reason. You guys keep telling me. It's interesting that they do it that way. Where it's so. I'm curious to see. Do they release stuff this early? That's this. These are my words. Unpolished and unfinished. Where it like I'm not really impressed graphics wise with this game.
So it's a
It just
con for
seems.
you because I
Oh
have
yeah,
this listed as a
absolutely.
okay. So in Jeff's eyes, everybody, the graphics are a con to him because we're it for me it's a pro. It's not 2025, but it's not a bad looking sim. You know what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah, I mean,
if
dude,
you weren't impressed, then that's totally up to yeah.
I think they have a long way to go even to get to ACC.
Oh, okay. Or
So
So
AC, even
ACC.
or
AC.
even AC, yeah. So if that's the distance or the delta that games to come out early release, and then once they're done, they get to okay, but there's like 2 miles of shit that they got to get to ACC, in my opinion.
2 miles. Damn, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric, what you got for us on graphics? Is it a con or a pro? I guess I should have titled this a little different, but it doesn't matter. This is discussion.
Yeah, yeah. So,
We're going over everything.
so obviously for me, GT7 just on like just visuals is um one of the better looking racing games. And A being
I like
a
how he said
game,
racing game.
yeah,
I
like
know.
A being this like getting into so the only car and track well the only car that I could find like a pretty close match to was um the Corvette the Camaro uh was it ZR1 1LE package or whatever. So I raced both those cars in both the games, and AC Evo in my mind looked better, but performance wise it wasn't as good. But just visuals,
Okay,
it in
but
my
just
mind it
talking
looked better.
visually, you thought it was better? The interior of the car, you mean?
Yeah, just doing just the flat screen. Obviously, VR's. I don't have the adapter for the PC yet. I haven't been able to test that out. But just on flat screen, I
None of
thought
us
it
do.
looked better. But one of the things that makes it kind of difficult to compare to GT7 is you don't have the option to get your field of view, just right. I was able to
Mm.
adjust all of that in AC Evo, which it made it better. But even like some of the textures on the inside, I did some races where it transitioned from evening to night and just like racing with other cars and the lights and stuff like that. I think it looked as good or better at certain times.
Oh,
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, and
maybe I'm
just
the one that needs to get in and tweak some more.
No, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it looks different on a flat screen, on a single screen, because
yeah, I was going
we're
to say
running,
that. Yeah,
which
y'all
is
are
kind
running
of cool.
triples.
We have both. It's just kind of cool. We have console, we have single monitors, we have
Yeah,
triple, we have BR. Except for
yeah,
this one, this is the only one. So sorry about that. So
yeah,
this is very interesting. Keep going.
and and to I guess give a comparison. I looked it up. I couldn't believe it, but GT7 came out in 22. So it's a fairly recent game.
It
It's
did. Oh,
not as
okay.
yeah, I
So
think
it's
we were playing GT
post
Sport a
COVID.
lot post COVID,
Probably.
and then 7 came out. And so as far as visuals, it being kind of at that mark, especially with GT7 being optimized just for PlayStation and stuff like that. Um I think for this to be a like alpha build or pre-release build, and knowing that once compatibility comes out there with the different graphics cards, right now I know triple screen guys, you guys kind of got the bare minimum. I think it only works with NVIDIA Surround right now,
Right.
and
Good
so
point. Very good
y'all are
point.
pretty limited on optimizations and things like that. As a starting point, I think the visuals is a plus.
That's a
That's for
great
me.
point, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah.
He is correct. NVIDIA Surround is required, and thankfully, we use that buggy software. It's good.
Not
It's
gonna go
good.
on the rant.
It's good when it
Yeah.
works. I mean, it works 90% of the time, and then it gives you a hard time, whatever. But
And every 4
Yeah.
months, you gotta
you got
delete
to do what
your
you got to do.
drivers and install the replete.
Okay, so graphics is a pro for Eric.
Yeah, pro for me. Yeah.
I guess I'm neutral on
Okay.
graphics. I guess I'm neutral. Now here is one that I am excited for:
Mm.
the sound. So
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this is gonna be very short here.
Yeah.
The sound in the game is
Mm.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Shifting the maybe they could dial back the tire screeching. I watched Eric's stream
Yeah.
and he made a good point on his stream. You should check his stream out too. The Tech Gent on
Tech
Twitch.
Gen Gaming. Yep.
Tech Jet Gaming on Twitch. Check him out. He did some testing, and I joined, and he was talking about like the slightest turn, and his tire start. You can hear the tire screeching, which is not really accurate, which is okay because they can dial that back. That can be
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but overall, the sound, environment, the car, everything is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say about that. For an alpha build, for this to be sounding like this, even uh your opponent cars, the way they sound great. So what do you guys think about the sound? Pro for me, definite A plus.
I I don't have much to add with it. I haven't spent enough time in the game to have opinion on it.
Yeah. I'll say
No
this.
overall, no
I mean,
first
it's
impression.
it's great. I mean, I
Oh,
don't say it's great, but it's good. I do,
Jeff, sometimes I'll tell you
and I
this.
wasn't
When you
really
don't
super
notice
focused on
something
that.
is a good sign too,
That's
right?
probably
Like,
very true. Point
if you
taken.
got in the car and you're like you're not even thinking about the sound, that means
Yeah.
that this thing's is exactly how you expect it to sound.
Fair point.
I guess. I'll just
Very fair point.
okay. So
Mhm.
we got two pros, and then Eric, which I'm pretty sure Eric is an audiophile. He'll tell you right now. What's up, Eric?
Look,
The grin.
it's a pro, and if you want a good example of the sound, drive that Camaro. Drive that Camaro with the V8 in it and do a downshift. And the pops and burbles, I mean, it
Oh,
sounds great, man. It sounds great.
They even got
Yeah.
launch control, Jeff.
ooh, really?
The freaking what is it? The Golf has launch control, and you can hear it. Yeah. All right,
So
so
yeah,
we can move around. We can put sound to bed here. Don't worry about
yeah,
the sound.
yeah.
Sound is
Sound is
great.
good. Yep.
Okay, so this one is a bit. This I have listed as a pro and a con. Um,
Yeah.
but we're gonna go with the pros. Promising force feedback. So the force feedback to me is in a great state because if you look at the overall package of it and what it's trying to do, because we haven't, I'm still tinkering. I can't get through a full lap, dude, without stopping, tinkering,
I
stopping,
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stopping, changing. Oh, that okay, do a few turns. You're like, man, yeah, a little
Yeah.
here, a little. And that's actually part of the fun. When you find it, and you find a sweet spot. Um, but then I jumped into a different car and it completely surprised me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So front wheel drive cars feel amazing. They feel dialed in. I feel the road, I feel everything. But
Mm.
GT cars need work. So I'm gonna call this neutral. It's still a pro because it's a good foundation. We're gonna use that word a lot here because this is a early release. It's a
Yeah.
great starting point. Let's not even compare LMU's force feedback, which is horrendous when it first came
Mm.
out, or Rensport that's still in testing and it's been like over a year and a half or whatever. Um, so overall, like just plugging the wheel in and it actually works because that's another thing. All the wheels, all the major titles, even Sim Magic, which is the newest player on the game, everything works and it has presets for your force feedback. They may not be the best, but
Mm.
they get you as a starting point. So what do you guys
Yeah.
think? What did you guys think? First impressions on the FFB.
It was the first thing I noticed. I was like, "Ooh, this
Oh,
is
really?
nice." Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I pulled the Porsche out of the pits and hammered down. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, this is nice." Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm hook, line, and sinker on the force feedback.
You see, and it didn't
Yeah.
take long for you to know. That's what I
No,
mean.
I
Like
mean,
it
yeah,
didn't
half lap, and I was like, "Oh, this is
half a lap. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this
yeah,
feels
they
good.
they're doing something right over here." Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
not gonna hit the yeah, I think you covered damn near all of it with the force feedback, but I was pleasantly surprised how nice it was.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
got
It
two
was almost like
pros.
it was just, anybody can do it when you're running over the rumble strip and the curb and stuff, but, like, it was the s the smaller ones that just kinda felt a little bit finer detail, like, when you turn the wheel and the wheel was skipping a little bit, you could kinda feel it
Hmm.
Mm.
ever so slightly in there, just the up just above the noise floor in your you can feel it, just a little bit more granularity, I guess. That was my take.
And I'll tell you this, guys. Um, whenever you get a chance, slam on the brakes real quick and see what the wheel does on a front wheel drive car. It's usually a front, yeah. What does a front wheel drive do when you slam on the brakes? It's going left or right. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't just go straight. They usually kind of twist and bend like this. Um, and I felt that, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." In a sim.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, all right, Jeff. So you were impressed with the force feedback?
I
I
was, yeah.
agree. I think it's a great starting point for an alpha. I,
Yep,
Mm.
concur.
I can't I can't
Yeah.
knock it. So what you think, Eric? What's up?
Yeah. Like I kind of mentioned before, I think that it is that's definitely one of the most impressive things. Obviously, getting into iRacing and playing a little bit of ACC and original AC with mods, feeling cars do things. Like I could feel the tires compressing as I shifted weight forward. I could feel the car sinking down on the front
Hmm.
tires. I can feel that grip. I can feel that weight transfer. Like I mentioned earlier, spinning out as I do a lot. That's the first time I could feel like the front tire skipping across the pavement as I slid. So just for me, I definitely have some more, more tinkering, like we were saying, more dialing in to do. But there are certain things where like when they come through, I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like, oh, I need to save this
Right.
second
It's
and
not
come back to
always
that.
correct. Correct.
Yeah. And so just trying to find that right combination where I get everything because I've gotten, like Jeff was saying, like that fine detail and kind of like the road texture just as you're, driving on the road. And then I change the setting and that goes away, but then I can feel more of the weight transfer. So I think all the pieces are there, just trying to figure out how to bring them all to the surface is kind of the key right now.
All right. So that's three
Yeah.
pros for force feedback. The
Yeah.
next one is this very short content. I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy. The game
Yeah.
cost $31.99, which
Yeah.
is a great value because when you think about it, what are you getting for $30, right? You're getting 4 tracks, 20 cars, and
Mhm.
they're going to unlock the driving school, which I can't wait to do that. So you can go through the school and stuff like that. It's not
Yeah.
out yet because they have like a problem with what you call the server has an issue.
Mhm.
So they're like any day now that's going to come out and then we'll be able to test more. But I felt like the content that they're giving you for $30 is kind of fair and it'll give you a preview and the biggest one, you paying $30 for a final release because whenever you buy this game, whenever you buy an early release title, you have rights to the end product. So the end
Mhm.
product's going to be way more than $30. Promise you. What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I don't see myself. I'll tinker with it for the next couple days, but then I'm gonna probably just let it sit until it's done. And that's $30 is the reason I bought. I'm like, I would definitely buy it when it's done, but for the most part, I bought it today or yesterday to save some money because when the thing comes out, hey, I saved $20. That's $20 and go somewhere else. But here's the thing on the content, Eric, that I think Eric and Jason, I think that they might have missed something here, missed an opportunity, I guess you could say. When it comes out in full release, is it going to have any open wheel or formula cars?
Yeah, yeah, it will.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that they should have put one open wheel or
Oh,
formula
I
car
see.
because they
They left
lost
you out.
everybody that is really a formula
Yeah.
driver.
Because you're a formula guy. That's
Right, so I'm
right.
gonna
Yeah,
get
that's true.
okay, it's cool, but had they just dropped one in there, I probably would drive it more and get in it more. Um, just a lost opportunity I think that they had that they could have put
That's a
a
good
open
point.
wheel car in. Just one,
Yeah.
just
I
give us
agree.
something from the formula or open
Yeah,
wheel
let us
community.
see what a formula is going to be like because we don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
know now. We know
So
what
Yeah.
vehicles, regular cars
yeah, so
need.
I think they lost an opportunity there. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. The content versus, price wise.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure open wheels. That's a great. I need to dig into that more. If anybody knows for sure, I don't. They didn't say no, but I don't think they said yes. You know what I
I,
mean? So I
I
I don't
I
know,
feel
but
like I saw one in like one of the trailers or something where they had like an open
the
wheel or
old
something.
one, right? Like a
Yeah, like an older
50s or
one.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of led me
So
to believe that they would be more of them in the game. Um,
so this is for Jeff real quick. Jeff, I'd say, keep it installed. That
Oh,
way
100%.
when there's a major revision, if you may, then you can go in there and see what's changed and check on its progress. I guess that's how I'm gonna treat it. So I mean, major release come out, we'll test it out and put out the information here,
yeah.
and see how life is going with the game. But Eric, we I need your take on content, man. Well, how did you feel about
The content is cool. Obviously, I'm a little biased. They got my favorite track in there, so I was happy about that. Um, got
that?
they got a
And it's
couple.
pretty good. They did a good job on it. Really good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Was happy about that. They got a couple Porsches in
They
there,
got my
so that's
Suzuka,
always
man.
good.
They
Yeah,
got my
I actually
Suzuka.
spent more time on Suzuka than Matt Panorama trying to test
I was
because
like,
my
Jason,
panorama would just kill me.
Jason, did you spend any time not on Suzuka?
It was all Suzuka, man. Most of it.
All the videos you
Yeah.
sent us were
I
Suzuka.
just went in and loaded up each one just to say I went there, but I
Yeah.
went right back.
Yeah. Yeah. Suzuka just has some everything, man. I mean, my
No,
panorama
but
is
Mount Panorama's dope too, man.
yeah, it's dope,
It's
but
it's,
it'll
it's
kill you.
fun. They both
I was
will.
Yeah.
having, I guess, graphics problems with Panorama. Like when you come to the top of the hill and you come down and look, like it just
The
looking down the
floor,
mountain.
right? The
Just
floor, the textures would like
yeah,
blur out.
yeah. It was just kind of some
That's happened to
artifacts
me.
in there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
needs
Visual
work.
stuff is yeah. Lot to be polished there. But yeah,
Yeah,
content wise, I'm a pro right now, especially knowing that the driving academy is coming. That'll be
yeah. The driving academy. All right, put
interesting
it
to
this
see.
way. I'd say this: if they weren't dropping the driving academy, eh, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
not
it'd be
really much
tough.
to do right now. It's kind of tough. You just
Yeah.
a race and practice, and that's it.
Yep.
So with the driving academy, you actually have something that you could do while they build the new patch or they release multiplayer, which should be coming next month, maybe. That's what they're talking about, multiplayer. So
Really.
Yeah.
yeah.
That'll give it a lot longer legs in
So
the
you guys
story
are happy with 30
phase.
bucks for what you got, in
Yeah.
summary.
Yeah. I paid more
Okay.
for worse
I'm
games.
okay.
Jeff is like, all right,
Yeah,
okay, it could have been more, but all right. I mean, the game works. It's like I told you
that's
guys, the game could just not work, period. And we'll be fresh out of luck with $30. Even though, Steam is a kind friend when it comes to these
Mm,
things. You could just get your money back, but you know,
and
put
this
it
is
this
my
way.
first time looking at a early release thing. I've never,
Yeah.
so it's just I'm getting used to like what your expectations should be with something that's coming out for early release.
And I'll
yeah.
say this. I refunded F124.
I still got it.
Yeah.
And I'm not refunding a freaking alpha game that, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that should say a lot.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of a bonus, right? Because during the launch, literally 4 hours into the launch, they were an hour late, by the way. So everybody was
Yeah.
waiting. It was the funniest thing ever. People,
Yeah. People on
yeah, people were
streams.
streaming and they were talking, chatting it up because they're just refreshing the page, waiting for the game to come out. So the game comes out, right? And 3 hours after that, SimHub drops an update for
Mm,
a workaround and gets telemetry working with this game. It is not perfect.
mm,
It's but it's something. I have shakers working, I have lights working, I have RPM, I have everything working. Um, so that kind of he kind of saved the day. Nicola, if you watch the show, I hope you do. Thank you so much for
Y-
dude.
yeah,
3 hours?
instead of somebody
crazy.
getting in there and playing the game,
Yeah, he's
the
coding.
dude
He's
took the time and sat there and crushed some code. Like everybody should we should have a moment of silence for the effort that he put in.
Definitely,
okay.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikolai, if you can hear us, man,
You're the man.
you're the goat. You're the true goat. And it's like he drops the update, and I take a picture of it and I send it over, and it's like, dude, like it's so easy for me to install this, and everything works now. And it's like this guy didn't get a cut out of the early release or nothing. No, I don't think any developer sent him anything for that. That's
Mm,
gonna dramatically increase the player count because they're like, oh, okay, all my stuff works now. Okay, so I
yep.
can go in there and try it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't know that because
it'll definitely help. It'll help their game.
yeah, I
It
didn't.
will.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been working troubleshooting some issues on the game for me, so I didn't even get into the update. And as soon as I got in the car, I was like, "Oh, my wheel doesn't work. Oh, my LEDs don't
Yeah,
work."
man.
I was like, "My butt kicker doesn't work." I'm like, "Oh, here we go."
Just update
Yeah.
SimHub. That's
That's
it.
all you gotta do. It'll be updated by the time we hit end recording. 30 seconds later, I'll be updated.
So I was in a group. I am in a group chat with Constantinos and and Daniel Newman, and I sent them a screenshot of it. And Constantinos couldn't get the game to work for whatever reason on his rig. DNR was at a football game, and they're asking me all kinds of questions. So what works? Where's the light? What can you record telemetry? Can you do this? Can you do that? And they're trying to like get their stuff working with it. They want to know.
Yeah.
So it
Daniel's
was kind of it
coding
was
in
kind
the
of cool. I
stands
was
of
like,
the
dude,
soccer game. He's
yeah, he's at a soccer game texting me on his phone, and
he's
Constantinos is like, the game doesn't launch, man. Can you take a video? Show me what do the tires work? Do the PSI works? Does the I'm like, yo, true dark mode works, pit
Oh, that's
limiter
rad.
works. Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It was kind of cool. Shout out to them too, because they're again, by them patching in stuff, even if this is a pre-release, you have
Mhm.
a little more, life into the game when your peripherals
100%.
work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Exactly.
I had
Yeah.
to give it up for them on the show. Like, if they need something, I mean, they could reach out, right? But they asked me to record telemetry, and Jason, he doesn't know how to do that. And I
I
said,
was gonna
he- I said, if
I
you
bet it
could
was
walk me through,
a little painful saying, "Hey, yeah, I don't know how to do that."
I don't know how to do
Yeah.
that,
I
man.
don't know how to
So
do
he,
that.
Daniel was like, "Never mind, dude. I'm just gonna go in there tomorrow and get the data." I'm pretty sure it's simple, but dude, I'm a sim
Yeah.
racer. I ain't trying to record no telemetry, man. I don't know what I'm
That's
doing.
funny.
So okay, so that covers the pros section, and we're gonna hit it with this. What do you think of the value? We're just talking value overall. I mean, I know. I guess we covered value, right? The
Yeah, I think so.
$30.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think
so
$30. Yeah.
yeah, they're $30, and now you
It's
got
an
Sim Hub
investment.
working, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's an investment. And the thing is, it'll get better every week, every month. Um,
And before I go into the bad shit, because
mm,
there is bad shit.
Uh-huh.
Um, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to YouTube. You don't have to go to Reddit. If you want to try this game, try it for yourself. Because
yeah.
there's so many different variables with this. It's all over the place. People tell you, well, my wheel works. And the other
Mhm.
guy says, well, mine doesn't. And it's like, well, I'm lagging. And the other guy was like, oh, I got 170 frames a second or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Just take a deep pill, not a pill, sorry. Take a
Deep
deep
breath. Yeah.
breath, no pills. Take a
Hey,
deep, yeah, go ahead.
go no, no, go ahead. Go finish what you're saying.
I'll just take a deep breath, buy it, install it, try it. If it's not what you thought it was, get your refund. That's the best advice I can give you guys with this.
And
Yeah.
Before we even touch the cons, before we even get there. But go ahead, Jeff. What you got?
all I wanna say is, say it again louder for the people in the back. You can watch YouTube, you can listen to us. At the end of the day, go buy it. You don't like it, you're not happy with it, return it. Go figure it
Yeah.
out for yourself. Take people's tips with a grain of salt. Take ours with a grain of salt. Go check it out yourself. If you're happy, great. If not, return it. Or
Right.
I'll be honest,
I
like
agree.
the reason I bought it was just to save a couple bucks when it's done. That I mean, I'll drive it for a little bit, but I'm not gonna probably, grind on it like you guys will.
Not even. I mean, I don't see myself grinding on it, but like,
Yeah.
for example, Jeff, you bought the game. Let's say
Sure.
next month they're like, you know what? We're gonna release two Formula cars so you could try it out. You're probably
Hell
gonna
yeah.
jump in there. You're like,
You're
hell
damn right
yeah.
I'm gonna jump in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
you get to
yeah, I
jump in
mean,
at $30 versus
that's what an early
40 or
Amen.
release.
That
whatever.
was my intent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the early release is not for you to grind or for you to expect any progression, because here's a scary one.
Mm,
Not all of them, but most of them will wipe the progress of your entire progress of the game
Oh.
at launch. So this is a test build. It's meant you're paying your ticket to be part of a club to test their stuff and to give them feedback because they want it, they need it. That's the only way they're going to get it, is
yeah.
to get people to get hands on the stuff and say, "Hey man, we want to build a simulator and we want it to be, I guess, the sim racer's voice, right?
Yeah.
We don't like this." And if everybody stands up and says that we don't like something, they're going to get rid of it because they won't sell the game won't sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a perfect world. Because EA, I
Mm.
tell you.
Mm, yeah.
But anyways, I know I shots at EA with
Yeah.
pride. Anyway, cons. We're gonna go over the cons. So the cons is very simple. We've talked around it. We've actually covered some of it. I'll
Mhm.
say it here: inconsistent performance. So
Yeah.
on some tracks, I'm even use Eric Kelly. I watched Eric Kelly, right? And he
Mhm.
turned the this is funny as hell. He
Mhm.
turned the difficulty of the opponent's level and his game started lagging. What? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like stuff like that happened. And I was like, I was watching and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was
And
weird. 'Cause I
yeah,
was
oh,
running
I
on
set the
ultra
game.
before.
Dude, I set the game to medium graphics and it looks better than ultra graphics.
Yeah.
What?
I don't
I
know what is changing. Like I don't
I don't
I
know what it's doing,
yeah.
but it's something ain't right. Something's not clicking.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's gonna
incon-
take having to go in the individual, subcategories and messing with it, not just that easy slider at the top. That's my hunch, at least till it gets wrung out and fine tuned.
Yeah.
right, and then again, you know, we don't have drivers, so maybe the GPU doesn't know what to do with what the
Yeah.
game is telling the GPU to do.
Yeah. I think
In a
that's a lot
very
of it.
simple way to explain that, we don't know. So,
Yeah.
you guys agree inconsistent on all three? Because
Yeah,
I have
concur.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
have a 4090 9800 X3D. I can't get over 70 FPS. And
Yeah.
sometimes I hit 90 and then I'll go back down to 70 and maybe even dip to 50. And when I look at my GPU usage is at 99%, 99.
On a
And my
4090.
yeah, my 4090 pushing that much. And then the my CPU is only being utilized like maybe 30%. So that's telling you that it's not something's not working correctly. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not working in tandem.
Not
Yeah.
optimized or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
I think you had a similar, right, Eric, with your CPU and GPU not working
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I said, like I got a 7700X, not an X3D AMD processor, and my CPU 40% usage,
Right. It's
maybe.
not being used, you
Yeah.
know,
And I got a 4070 with 12 gigabytes of
which is
RAM, but
plenty. That's a powerful card for a single display.
yeah, single display, 4K, ultra settings. And it was weird when I manually I manually slid everything over at first. I didn't just use the slider at the top that changes to ultra. I manually slid everything over, and it was running fine, right on, and with everything maxed out. Then I think on the stream I was doing something like we talked about moving it down to medium or high or whatever, and I used a slider at the top to do that, and the performance didn't really change. And
Yeah, it's
so
not.
after the stream, I moved the slider back over to ultra, and it went to crap. And I'm like, that's weird. I mean,
Yeah, some
I was getting like it dropped down like 14 frames one time, and then up to
ooh,
30,
Damn.
and then
damn. Down to a
up to
crawl.
up to
Jeez.
60, and then it was just all over the place. So I just assumed that some of the stuff like the DLSS and other technologies, I don't think that they're fully working
No.
right now.
So the
Yeah.
game has FSR right now, but FSR is an AMD.
Yeah.
Um, it's an AMD scaler. We don't have DLSS yet because we don't have drivers. Again, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just
I'm
hang
just
tight,
brute
guys,
forcing it.
for the drivers to come out if they
Yeah.
ever do. Um, so inconsistent performance. That's one of the cons. The
Mm.
bugs, which is kind of in tandem with everything, and the number one pain, and I'm gonna hold hands with Jeff, is when you load up the car, you don't see anything. You
Yeah.
see a
Oh, you
black
have to, yeah.
screen.
Ah,
And they said that they fixed it and they did not fix it.
that turned out to be a lie.
And then Eric kind of corrected us and said that, hey, that's an NVIDIA surround thing because we're on triples and he's on a single screen. So
Yeah. And that
if you
does
run into
change.
that, man, just
Yeah.
turn it down, apply, and then turn it right back up and
It's
apply.
so another thing that drives me nuts is every time, at least for me, every time I load the game, open the game up, I'm stuck with the fiat.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It
don't want to
wants you
drive
to
that damn
drive.
Yeah,
car.
by default.
Like,
Yeah.
just give me the last car I had.
Bro, who the hell drives a Fiat?
The Fiat.
No freaking no
They
offense
proud of
now.
that Fiat,
Don't
man.
I
What?
guess so.
They proud of them physics.
Man.
I'm
Of
telling
all
you.
cars to be stuck on.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I say
Italian. The Fiat. You know what
You
I'm
call
saying?
yeah.
That's probably what it is.
it.
It's Italian.
Hey, it could be they representing. I'll say one thing that I've encountered just because I have so many different headsets and stuff connected. If you launch the game and your desired audio output device is not selected, going into the settings and changing it won't set it. You'll have to close the game, select it at the PC level, and then launch the game again to get audio. So just
Jeez.
anybody struggling with that, that's right now that's the only way I've seen to address that.
So and to close this little section out, right, with the bugs,
Mhm.
whenever they patch the game, that's an
Mhm.
invitation for more of them to come out. They squash some, you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
squash a few roaches and then like 10 of them come out and then they hide. So just keep that with a grain of salt. You know, next week the game might be broken and the week after something else might work and then this other thing is broken.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Could
of
be
part of it. That's part of
Yeah, I'm
bug
having some really
squashing.
hard times mapping some of my stuff. I know Jason was giving me a hard time about my wheel, but I was reading some other people having this hard time. Like I had my Apex button starter and ignition working, and then it pulled it off it. Now it won't let me remap it again.
Huh.
So yeah, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. Like when I finally got the wheel to work, I don't even know what I did differently.
Yeah. I had some so
I
I had
was
some
giving him
issues
a
with my
hard
Neo
time.
as
I
I
was
was like,
well.
like,
I
Jeff,
didn't even do
turn the wheel,
anything
bro.
different.
Just give it a full turn. Are you shitting me? Do I need to go over
I was like,
there?
I just did the like I had always done 300 times before, and
I
it was like,
just
I was like, did it just work? The one time I finally, after like an hour of trying to figure this out, texted Jason. I was like, hey, dude, s- still
Jeff was
having
like, oh
trouble,
yeah, of course
and
it works.
he's like, turn it all the way, all the wheel all the way around, and I didn't even get in there to turn. It was like mapped, and I was like, I don't even know what I did to fix it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Eric. What's up?
Oh no, I was gonna say I had some issues with my Neo showing up as well. Because when we got to the stream, you saw I had the buttons mapped to the Neo.
But
And
but but you use the control mapper and control
so
mapper works perfectly with it. I don't know.
yeah, so the thing was initially that was what I did. I mapped with the control mapper and they they weren't working in my mind, but it wasn't detecting my Neo. So I had the
Oh,
wheel there and the wheelbase was working, right? So it would turn and stuff like that, but none of the buttons would work. And I was like, is it not reading the control mapper? That's why I ended up mapping the buttons physically to the wheel once I got the Neo to
ah,
show up. But then
oh,
on the
okay.
stream, you were like, no, just use control mapper because it works.
Yeah,
And
I
I
didn't
wiped
know
out
all
noise
that.
from the buttons. Yeah.
I saw the double
But
maps. I was like, try to avoid that because now you have like double input, you know. But that
yeah.
makes sense now.
Yeah.
Next time, Eric, if you have an issue like that, just shut down SimHub and open it again because
Yeah.
it can have a little weird thing and depending, you know,
Yeah.
um, especially with new game like this too. I don't know how it's reacting with SimHub working in the background and all this stuff. You just never know. And
Yeah.
that's another thing. Crew chief, I don't think crew chief's working either. So
Crew chief don't
crew
know
chief
what it
is
is.
yeah, crew chief is a separate from SimHub. So
Yeah.
and I don't have any feedback also in my pedals. I don't get the ABS feedback because I need telemetry.
Uh,
Oh
So
yeah.
straight from the game.
straight, yeah,
Yeah.
straight. So those are the bugs.
We'll
They
get
suck.
there. We'll
We're
get
gonna
there.
get there. And then the next one I have is limited features, which we kind of touched on content wise.
Mhm.
But
I think we
what
all knew
I
what we were going to get features wise, though, right?
correct.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I wish I could turn the HUD off, and for some reason I can't. So
Oh yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that I'm showing that I don't need to see because SimHub's working now, and I don't need all this other extra data there because I have peripherals and buttons for that. But other than that, it's a con. It's a con because the game supposed to have more features when it releases. I mean, It's expected though. This is an expected con, if you may.
Yeah, something I got to work on.
Anything to add, or we'll move on from that one?
I think we're good.
Limited
Yeah,
features, Eric. You didn't find anything? Okay. Um, Force feedback. So force feedback is a pro and a con. It's a pro, like we mentioned earlier, because it's promising, but it still needs fine tuning. It needs work. It needs
yeah,
work because there's a lot of inconsistencies, right? Like some cars
yeah.
feel great and some don't. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm gonna leave it with force feedback. What do you guys
Oh,
think?
eh,
That sums
like
it
I
up.
self-admitted only drove the 992. So, and I thought that was pretty good. So, but if that kind of matches with what you're saying is varies car to car.
Yeah, it varies a
Okay.
lot.
I mean, that's yeah, I mean it's an early release, you know.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
think
force feedback is pretty person to person.
it's person to person, but I think to Jason's point, it's very inconsistent,
Okay.
right? Because you shouldn't have to change a lot of settings
Mm,
between cars to feel what that car, whatever that car is doing, right?
I
Whether regardless of the tires. Um, and for me, it was like one car, it might be very not even just heavy, but you have a sense of what's happening in the car, and then
right.
another one, it just feels like you're on ice, like you have no communication from the car. And I know in GT7 we experienced that, and it's like, well, the that model of the car is kind of bonked or whatever the
Or it's
reason is.
old or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm gonna half agree with you, Jeff, that is personal preference, but it's kind of like seeing something, right? You know how we do track of the week and I tell you, hey, there's a boot. And you're like, oh, I see the boot.
Uh,
Now you can't unsee the boot.
yeah, it's fair.
yeah,
So I'm gonna hit this with Eric. Eric is the most recent. Me and Eric did some fine tuning on iRacing, and he
yeah,
discovered a lot more fidelity than he thought that his wheelbase had.
yeah.
And now that's a bench line for him. It should be. That's a bench line. It's not really a preference, but it's like this is the highest level of detail I've ever experienced. If
I
you
guess
can
that's
top,
fair.
you
You
know what I
like you
mean?
like going from driving with a butt kicker and then taking it off, and you're like,
Oh yeah,
something's
which
just missing
Eric
a little
hasn't
bit.
found out yet. But when he does, we're gonna get a shit ton of messages on the group chat. I
Oh yeah,
promise you.
yep.
All right, so
Videos.
go ahead, brother. What you got?
No, I was gonna say videos and everything, man.
Videos and everything. Okay, so final thoughts. My final thoughts here. It
Mm,
the game in its current state, it needs work. It's not finished, and it's not gonna be finished for a long time.
mm,
So, like we all told you earlier, take everything that you see on the internet and take it with a grain of salt. And I'll tell you why. There's a lot of YouTubers, not that I know of, like personally, um, but there's a lot of YouTubers that will take something, right, and batch it to hell and create 7 different videos on a game just to make content. This show is not in it for that. We're here to talk about what's really going on with this thing and what we feel about it. But again, the ultimate decision on how you feel about the game is up to you. It's on you to try the game and compare it and see if you like it or not. That is that simple. You don't have to go out nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's $30 if you have $30 to spare. Get it on Steam, and you're guaranteed. You're guaranteed, your money for a few hours. So make sure that you have time when you install that thing. When you hit install, when you hit buy, make sure that you have time to test the game right then and there. Because if you find out that this is not worth it, um, in your opinion, then you can get your money back. But in my humble opinion, AC Evo is definitely worth the $31.
yeah.
Full stop. So what I'm gonna go through, I guess, the same order that we've been going through. So Jeff, you're up next.
I have nothing additional or better or worse to say than the way you put it. Go check it out for yourself. You got time to
Yeah.
return it. Give it a go and make your own opinion. Don't take anybody else's. You can listen to ours as an input,
Yeah.
but go make up your own mind. You might like it, you might not like it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. And I also remembered something else as well. I think the $30 price is only through the end of January. So
Yeah, I
if
think
you're
you might
kind
be right.
of on the fence,
Oh,
I think
that's a
it
good,
could
good,
because
good
it's
catch.
normally 39 for the early access, but they say it's like a 20% discount or something like that right now. So just to give you guys that information, if you're kind of
Which is
waiting
great.
or
I mean, that's $10. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. So but besides that, as far as just final thoughts on it, I'm excited for it specifically because just in the different games I've been playing, it seems like they're very ambitious, trying to tackle both the on track experience and the kind of open world experience. I don't know of another game that's doing that with the physics and the the tire models and that kind of stuff. I'm excited for it, but right now it definitely needs work. Um, but yeah, I think it's worth the $30 easily.
Okay. So, Jeff, you're up next, brother.
For my thoughts on it or
No,
what
No,
no, for me.
actually, I got confused here.
okay.
So I'm gonna swallow my words here.
Mhm.
Before we started this show, I said that we might have time for track of the week. That doesn't seem like that's gonna happen today. So we're gonna have to postpone our track of the week.
Mhm.
We spoke for a full hour, gentlemen, just on AC Evo alone, which I find hard to believe. But we did. We actually went through a full hour.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair enough to push the track to next week. So stay tuned for track of the week next week. We do have something from Jeff that he wanted to cover, and I will give that over to him. I think that's where my brain was.
Yeah, no worries. I didn't know if you wanted to hit there.
I,
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
So
man.
yeah,
I'm
we
not
are
perfect, man.
no
Something
He
worries.
happened
saw
up
that.
here.
He saw that hour go by. He's like, "Wait a minute."
Where
Yeah, I
did that
was.
go?
What the hell? We got cut it short. I'm just kidding.
So by the time everybody's listening to this, it will be Monday morning. Everybody's starting their week. But this past weekend, is if you're listening to this, is the 24 Hours of Daytona in iRacing endurance event. I want to. So it's. I'll share my tab here so you can see the screen, the track that they're doing. We'll do like maybe like a mini little track of the week. Um, I'm not going to talk about the track as much as it is the event, but nonetheless. So there, I mean, you can see it. It uses probably the traditional Daytona layout, maybe what like 90% of it, but then it just has a little bit of the infield and then a quick chicane. Um, But in iRacing, I'm going to cover this fairly quick as we're running a little long here. Is they have 3 or 4 classes, some GT3s, LMPs, GTPs, and like the hyper class. Excuse me if I'm mispronounced, not pronounced, but not getting that last class done right. Uh, so shout out. This is done the week before the real Daytona event, the
Mm.
24 Hours of Daytona. Shout out Daniel Morad.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if he's racing it or not, but if he is,
Yes, he is, bro. He's gunning for
yep.
that third
good
watch.
luck. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
should, yeah. So good luck,
Good
buddy.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So this is kind of cool, dudes. Like, I think it'd be cool to do um, a endurance event, 24 hours. That's a long pull. So some of
Yeah.
the rules is you have to have 2 people. I'll stop sharing this so we can sit here and talk. I just want to kind of people to see that, but
Mm.
um, you have to have 2, and I think you can have upwards of 12 or 14 members of the team that you could be switching out for. So I did a little bit of research, and a lot of teams will practice.
Mm.
So they'll have somebody driving and then pull into the pits, and they'll practice their pit stops and things like that, which is a little. I don't know if you have like your phone's up and you're talking to people or Discord or like imagine going and in the real race and the dude's alarm doesn't go off or something.
Oh my
I, I
God.
I guess it
Pink
depends.
slip.
Yeah,
Fired,
Oh
bro.
yeah,
yeah.
out of there, out of
So
there.
if you, I think most people probably are doing 4 or 5 people, and I don't know how long you think a good stint would be, where
How do you
you are long
sleep,
enough.
bro? With that
Yeah, knowing
adrenaline,
that your boys are grinding, right? And it,
bro.
and I did do some research, and a lot of people will, as they're driving, somebody will spot for them, so they can
Mm,
see above the car further out and say, "Hey, there's a wreck. You want to stay on the left side." Because crew chief's not going to give you that, right? It's going to say, "Hey, there's a wreck ahead," and it'll tell you the person. It's not going to say where to go, where to stay.
yeah.
So now you're having like 2 people from your team up at all times. So that eats into um, your rest really, from once you get out of the seat. But what do you guys think if you're going to have? We'll say, what do you think is an optimal time to be driving for a stint? Jason, what do you think
Mm,
would be an optimal time if you had, we'll say, 6 people? How long do you think you should go to optimize? So you're not obviously pitting and slowing down, but staying optimal in the car is going to have to pit for tires and gas, fuel and stuff, but also eye fatigue, driver fatigue, your ass
That's a
getting
lot of
sore,
people, man.
from sitting there.
Because
Um,
yeah.
usually in sim racing is about 3 people
yeah, usually the
that's
ones that
spread
I have
out,
seen, it's mostly 4.
or 4.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen 4, and I've seen 3. I've seen 3 in Assetto Corsa Nordschleife, like 24 hours, like for real, 24 hours. Like that's rough on the. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. That's a tough question.
You think it's like
Um,
2 hours? Eric, what do you think?
I mean, but you're not gonna see. Here's the thing: if you did 2 hours, that means you're pitting every 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, what are you
You
going to
know.
have to pit for tires and fuel?
Mm.
Mm,
You're pitting already.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
guess
then
it
you have
depends
to
on how
switch up.
long or if there's like a delay. I don't know how the switch works. If it's like just automatic and there's no additional time if you switch drivers, or if there's
This
like a
is
little
interesting.
So I
if there's
think
like a little time delay
I think
or
it's
what.
17 seconds if you're going to do just a driver switch. And you could probably do tires and fuel as you're doing them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because you
there's
got to get
no
them out, and
It
then
might be
you have
more than
to.
that. Don't quote me on that.
yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the memes when they drag the guy out and he's like half
Yes.
dead? They
So
drag his
here's a
ass out,
so
throw,
here
they
so
toss him. Get
here's
out.
an interesting story. The last year they did this, um, like a day went by or 2 days went by, and somebody posted that somebody couldn't find a team and they did it solo. Now they got disqualified at the end,
Yeah.
but this brother did 24 hours. I
Bro,
don't know
Hey,
what type of energy
what
drink.
kind of
Clearly,
legs does
clearly
this guy
isn't
have? Is it
legal energy.
mechanical?
I'm
I,
telling you.
and they were
Listen,
like,
I
bro,
did the 3 hour race. I did a 3 hour race on a simulator, and I had arm pains. Like I didn't, I didn't map a button to mess with my force feedback. So
dude,
I was,
they were like, hold on a
bro,
second. You still have bodily functions that have to happen at 24 hours.
and my
Hey,
back
look.
too. My lower back. I was like, because you can't get up. You can't get
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So he said he was like, I mastered taking leaks in like less than a minute, and
Nah.
he said he ate like energy bars, so he was like all fibered up, and he didn't
Yeah.
have to worry about going
Oh my
the other
god, bro.
bathroom. So
Yeah.
it was like,
That would be sick though to do
dude,
an
he's
endurance race.
I can't. It
Yeah.
would be
With
cool,
a
but it'd be
team.
cool. Like, what's that? Yeah, team,
Yeah,
not
with a
solo.
team. Yeah, not solo.
No, but
Um,
we can. It's definitely possible with us. Like,
Oh
say a
yeah.
day where we had an off day,
Mhm.
and I know Jeff would probably take the night. I'll take the morning shift with somebody else, and then Eric lives all the way on the East Coast. So by the time he comes
Yeah.
out, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's totally
definitely.
possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're driving and you're like, hey Eric, are you up?
Yeah.
Nothing. Eric,
Dude,
Eric, wake up!
no,
And
the
you're like,
best thing, bro,
I
about
gotta go another. You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
the I watched a stream one time, I think it was Jardier's stream, and he was mad as hell because when he woke up to take the car,
Mhm.
they had been disqualified. The car was toast. It was crashed. He was mad as hell.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
that's
like, what
gotta
happened
suck.
to the car, bro?
oh man.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I can
think
So
imagine that you're gonna drive a lot more conservative, right? Because you don't want to wreck.
you're trying to
yeah.
survive,
You're
dude.
trying. It's a
The
survival game
whole
to a point. But it
Yeah.
is cool. So
And
I looked at, you qualify and like they racking stack with different, different times that they go in groups. So, A class aren't going to be with like 16 D class drivers. Shout out, I'm a D class, and I'm not giving anybody a hard time, but uh,
Yeah.
so I'm sure good old boy Max is giving it a go, and he'll be in the pro class.
He'll be there.
Yep, him
He'll
and his
definitely
team.
be there.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
That's
it
dope.
just is. It's a probably one of the bigger events that sim racing that iRacing does. And we're not a all iRacing podcast. We did talk an hour about a different game today, but nonetheless, one of the bigger events in iRacing. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. At least
That
bring
is
it
a
up.
great point.
Yeah.
So just wanted to say shout out to everybody that's giving it a go today, tonight, tomorrow.
Okay. That's
Show
what's
And
up,
love.
we'll give
Jeff.
it a quick wrap up. I'm sure there was a whole bunch of stories about teammates that didn't wake up, didn't had emergencies or whatever, or kids walking in and unplugs the computer on them or something. So
Oh my
I'll try to come up with
God.
like a compilation of all the stories that get
That
posted
would
out to
be
all the Reddits and the Facebook groups and stuff like that.
that would be awesome, bro.
So
Yeah.
I'll
Let me
just
know.
Yeah.
We'll
we'll
put it
wrap it up
together.
again with the maybe next week with the 24-hour summary of Daytona. So
Very good
um,
Could be
section, man.
fun.
anyways,
This was awesome, by the way. This
Yeah.
actually, I don't feel too bad from skipping the track of the week because Imola, bro, that's another hour here. I
yeah,
promise you. I need to give that the honor and glory that it deserves. But we also have to pay homage because we received a few emails this week, and
Mhm.
we're just gonna go over those real quick. Okay, so the first message that we got this week was from Drew Funk, which I think he's emailed us before. He says, "Hey guys, I'm an episode behind, but if you do merch, I think stickers would be cool. On a personal note, I went against your better judgment and bought the Logitech G Pro wheel. Okay. I
Mm.
want
got
to
to
know
start
what you think
somewhere.
about that because
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
anybody that has one of those. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And while it was good, well, I should have finished the message here. And while it was a good wheel. I was consistently wondering about the Sim Magic GT Neo. I sold the Logitech, so just disregard what I just said. I sold the that didn't take long. I sold the Logitech, and I'm in limbo currently. I have 3 boys under 4. Ooh, that's gotta be rough.
Good for you,
And
Dad.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so time is my biggest limitation, but game plan is to get a PC rig and Sim Magic set up down the road. In the meantime, listening to your podcast, uh, listening to your show keeps me updated on hardware, appreciated, and software, and gets the gears turning on a potential setup someday. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. Hey, man, shout out to you for keeping up with the kids. You
Definitely.
know, building your setup. Just take your time. Just take your time. I
Yeah.
see that you tossed the Logitech pretty quickly. So I mean, it made sense what we were talking about, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, Rome wasn't built in a year, buddy. You take your time building your rig.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's never done anyway, as we all
there you
Yeah,
know.
that's
it,
true.
it-
No
it's never
truer
gonna
words.
be done. It
Yeah.
no matter how far you throw it. So for
All
the
right.
next one, I'll give it over to Jeff. Jeff, what was the
Yeah, we
next
got
one?
Paul from Texas. Hey, fellas, just want to say thanks for the podcast. I've been listening to all them. Looking forward to each new episode. I'm wondering if you guys would allow me to run a chicane podcast logo on my cars in iRacing. Oh, look at that. I wouldn't do it unless you guys are cool with it. I'm sure we could figure that out. Uh, I got to beta test iRacing a long time ago, raced for a few years, and picked it back up a few months ago. Like most, I got a long, strange story with my sim racing. It's cool listening to everybody's story about how they get in.
Yeah.
Previously, I raced ovals coming from NASCAR racing in 03. There's a crazy story with the game in iRacing too. Google Dave Kemmer, I might have mispronounced him, and John Henry if you don't know if you want a little story. Since I've dipped my toes into the slower sports and open wheel cars, I would encourage you guys to keep an open mind on oval. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe find a guest who knows a little stuff regarding ovals. Yeah, that's some good
Very
advice.
good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's a
Definitely.
different discipline whose limitations are what makes good experience. Anyhow, keep up the great work and send me a big chicane podcast PNG file or PNG a PNG file. I love to paint cars. I'm not good at them, but they're fun. I agree, buddy. I like making them. I'm not good at it, but it's fun. Kind of like my racing, he says. No truer words. Hope you all to see y'all on the track, and thanks for what you do, Paul. and 18,517. I'm sure that's something to do with his iRacing
Probably
number.
his iRacing number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I can see
so
that.
Paul, I don't know the story, but I will get back. I will do some research this week. I'll get my Google on, and I will Google these people and find said story, and I will relay that story with our listeners. And on that note, dude, I was actually thinking about doing some type of oval racing, just to try it out. I mean, it's got. I mean, look at NASCAR. It's like just huge. I'm not saying I do NASCAR. Every time my brother comes over the house, all he does is NASCAR. So my rig does get some oval use.
So I'll chime into on this, and this is
Yeah.
controversial. Don't hate me. Don't hate me for saying this. I
Mhm.
cannot stand NASCAR watching it. However, driving NASCAR, actually driving it is a lot of fun. So I found that,
Oh yeah, that's fine.
racing
That's
ovals is intense, but watching it, I'm not a fan of watching it.
yeah, that's
So
reasonable.
yeah.
So I'll say, a couple of we mentioned iRacing idiots of the week a little
Yeah.
while back.
Oh, the
So
worst ones are
Oh,
the
dude,
yeah,
NASCAR,
NASCAR.
bro. The worst
and
crashes, bro.
the craziest crashes happen in those oval races, and you think about like how would I avoid that? Like sometimes like I can't avoid that. I mean it looks just dangerous.
It's a
Even though
train, bro.
we were racing other cars going 200 plus kilometers an hour or whatever, but you see those guys like 4 or 5 wide going around the turn, it's like
And none of
that
them
looks
have
like
any business going 3 wide around a corner.
I'm
You
like that
think
just
first car
looks
pileups are bad
It
in
just
road and
takes
formula.
one.
It just
Just
yeah,
takes
one.
man,
one,
and it's a
and you're so
disaster,
close to each
man.
other.
Yeah, so I definitely could see it being fun and at a
It's
minimum just
intense, bro. It's
intense.
intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh
yeah,
snap.
man.
All right,
Well,
Eric, you got the last one. What's up?
yeah. So we got Julian who sent us an email from Australia. He says, "Hi guys, loving the podcast. Has quickly become one of my favorites and look forward to it each time. Watched the following YouTube video with Keanu Reeves and thought you might be interested. Love the show. Keep up the great work." And so I've seen this on my YouTube feed. I haven't watched it yet, but it's the title of the video for all of our audio listeners. It's a Keanu Reeves story, and it's him racing a Toyota in the Toyota GR Cup in 2024,
Oh,
and they go
nice.
through his story. The video is 16 minutes and 30 seconds long, and Keanu Reeves just has he kind of goes all in on stuff. Uh, this seems to be something else that he's going all in on,
dude,
and it looks
is
pretty interesting.
is there anything this guy's not good at? Like John Wick's good at everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
I feel
This
like
guy
John
can
Wick is more
shoot.
of an autobiography of him.
Yeah.
The more I
Well,
learn
this is
about the
Neo,
man.
bro. He's the one.
Eh,
Remember? He's
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
the
look,
true. Like,
you're
Matrix.
right.
dude, have you seen this guy can shoot guns like nobody's business, apparently drive cars.
He can dodge
Uh,
bullets too, bro.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Say, don't forget that's the most important piece.
Yeah,
But
I'll
yeah,
I'll
man.
include the links to this video in the description below for you guys to check out. I haven't seen it myself,
I would give it a
so
watch.
I'm a
Yeah,
big Keanu Reeves fan anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's one of
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He
solid,
goes all
solid
in on
actor.
on what he does. So yeah, we'll definitely watch it and appreciate it again, Julian. Glad to have you watching and listening, and you know, give us a shout out if you got any more questions.
All right, gents. Thank you so much for the messages. Anything we've covered on the show, that this long show today, send us an email at the chicanepodcast@gmail.com. We will address all two of these emails that we need to follow up on the next episode. And that's going to be it for me. I don't have any round tables. Just do okay. I'm seeing nodding.
Round's complete.
Yeah, yep.
The rounds
Oh, I saw the eye. That was an evil look. I'm sorry.
No.
Drive fast, everybody, and brake late.
There you go. Come on, Jeff. You got to remind people, bro. They forget.
I hear you.
So-
My bad. I won't let it happen again.
All right, gentlemen. And to all you followers and listeners, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and have a great start of the week. Thank you.